Hi guys! Welcome to Fundamentals of User Experience Design, a TUTS Plus premium course. I'm Sarah Kahn, and today we're going to talk about user experience design and project management methodology. Here's what we're going to cover. Fitting into a traditional waterfall environment, fitting into an agile environment, lean UX, and then we will have an assignment. Last time we talked about how to get buy-in from your client or organization. I recommended a lot of one-time warfare kinds of tactics and methods. Over time, as you integrate UX practices into your workflow, you're going to need to integrate with whatever existing project management methods are already in place. Even if you don't have a professed process, the odds are that you'll recognize some elements of your organization in one of the three types we're going to cover. Since UX isn't traditionally incorporated into any of these processes, figuring out how to work in it can be an ongoing challenge, and I know that's starting to change now, but UX design is still new to a lot of organizations, so this is unfortunately a conversation that we need to have. So, what is this waterfall you speak of? Well, waterfall project management methodology is a sequential design process. Progress is seen as a flowing steadily downwards, like a waterfall, through the phases of requirements, design, implementation, and maintenance. Larger, more bureaucratic organizations typically tend more towards methods like waterfall because of the size of teams and projects. Different phases could represent handoff between entire departments or divisions. It's hard to make changes to a project once it's passed off to a different phase. So, how to UX? In some ways, the waterfall method makes it a little easier to implement a UX process. All you have to do is establish a clear UX step in the workflow. This makes things a little more cumbersome, as you won't necessarily be able to get fixes to problems out the door quickly, but once you've established user testing as a solid phase in the process, you can be sure it will be happening regularly. In some ways, the waterfall method makes it a little easier to implement a UX process. All you have to do is establish a clear UX step in the workflow. This makes things a little more cumbersome, as you won't necessarily be able to get fixes to problems out the door quickly, but once you've established UX testing and analysis as a solid phase in the process, you can be sure it will be happening regularly. Working in a waterfall environment has some pros and some cons. You'll have more time for careful analysis, but you'll also have less flexibility in rolling out fixes quickly. To help counter that, be careful about prioritizing fixes. Since you have less ability to roll them out quickly, you need to make sure they're the right ones. So, what is Agile? Agile methodology is an approach to building software that's based on rapid iterations. Instead of taking time out for each of the steps in the waterfall method, all of those steps happen quickly in tandem or one after the other, in cycles of about 2 weeks usually. Agile is really popular and is increasingly being adopted by organizations of all sizes. It seems to work best for smaller teams in my experience, but I'm not a project management expert and this isn't a project management course, so that's neither here nor there. Most of my professional life I've lived in an agile world, and it actually can be kind of challenging to figure out where UX fits in. Things can be fast and furious. Fixes can be implemented quickly or take more time if they're larger. Rapid turnaround times allows for real-life feedback, which can decrease the need for in-depth studies before deploying, so that's helpful. And finally, Lean UX. Lean UX is a movement that has sort of sprung out from the Agile movement. Some people actually call it Agile UX, but in my experience, it's actually a little bit of a different thing. It's so new that it's not really well defined yet, I guess. So, Lean UX values low-fidelity deliverables like paper prototypes, collaborative brainstorming and design, and people and ideas over deliverables. So that's why you just don't spend time on the deliverables. The deliverables are not the thing. The ideas are the thing. Okay. Last time we talked about making a UX process document. This time, do some research. Find out what is your project management environment, if you don't know already. Revisit the document that you made for the last lesson and figure out how it needs to change to accommodate your project management environment. That's one step closer to getting things formalized and formally endorsed and accepted by your organization. Okay, next time on Fundamentals of User Experience Design will be Lesson 16, Worth It? A Tools and Resources Review. This is Sarah Kahn, and from all of us here at TUTS Plus, thanks for listening.